A River State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt yesterday confirmed Governor Siminalayi Fubara's ally, Edison Ehie, as authentic Speaker of the House of Assembly. The decision was the latest twist in the continuing power tussle in the state between Fubara and his erstwhile political godfather and current Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike.
The court, presided over by Justice M.W. Danagogo, also restrained Martin Amaehwule and Dumle Maol, Wike's associates, from parading themselves as Speaker and Deputy Speaker, respectively, or interfering with the activities of Ehie as Speaker of the Assembly. The court verdict places Fubara in a vantage position in the current power tussle, but the leadership of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has threatened to drag Danagogo to the National Judicial Council, NJC, to protest the order.
As we delve, of course, into the conversation in River State, we're joined this morning by lawyer and veteran journalist, Osa Director. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure here.
All right. Sim Fubara, has had a very, very chaotic last few months since he became governor. Of course, the latest incident we heard now was that 27 of the House of Assembly members defected to the APC. Quickly just start with, your thoughts on what has happened in the last few days in River State.
To every decent Nigerian who is interested in progress of this country, it comes with a sense of disappointment. If you are a great political observer who is very discerning, this was bound to happen, but it's just like it came too early in the day. I mean, we thought maybe when the guy is going to ask for a second term or something like that, he must have consolidated his grip on power. Then he will want to extricate himself from the vice and stranglehold of his godfather. But the unfortunate thing is that Nigerian politicians are a funny lot because they are a perfect description of that aphorism that it is only a madman that continuously does the same thing and expect different results. Where has Godfatherism succeeded in Nigeria? Except Lagos, which nobody knows the formula. Even the greatest form of Godfatherism, from father to son, in Kwara State, did not work. Bukola Saraki retired his father from politics. And now, you think because you are still Minister of Federal Capital Territory, maybe you'll be able to control a governor, when you yourself, you are aware of the immensity of the power.
But we don't have clear evidence that Wike is directly, involved in all of this. These are just, I'm going to say that these are just, insinuations where, painting pictures, because this is what it seems like. But is there any evidence whatsoever that Wike is involved?
I know as a journalist, you just want me to put the words out there. But I mean, Wike has responded several times. I mean, the first time the issue happened after the burned down Rivers House of Assembly, that's October 2nd, 2023. When the leader of PDP Governors Forum, the governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, paid a courtesy call to him and tried to get his buy-in that they should resolve the issue. I mean, he spoke his mind that people are speculating is because of money, it's because of control. But what is interesting is that the young man should not alter the political structure in River State that brought him there. So which means he has shown that he's an interested party. I mean, it's a tussle between the two of them. I mean, it's obvious to the blind and audible to the deaf that this is a tussle between a godfather, Wike, the president, minister of FCT, and a godson, Fubara, the governor of River State.
All right, now that Wike has been brought into the conversation, let's talk about what exactly does Wike have on the People's Democratic Party that has made them not able to sanction him all these months. The months leading up to the election, we saw how very vocal he was in his claims, his attacks, verbal attacks against, more like he was taunting the PDP. They had accused him of anti-party activities, but it would seem that nothing was done about it. Right now, we see also some alliance between him and the All Progressive Congress. He, of course, is now working with the president, who is the lead, the face, the president of the All Progressives Congress. So talk to us about what exactly it is that gives Wike the boldness to be able to continue and on paper still be a member of the People's Democratic Party. That is if we do confirm that he's behind all of this defecting.
Yeah, the truth is that give Wike some slack. I mean, he's also a strategist. He's a deep-rooted politician, a grassroots man. He started his politics as the chairman of a local government and became one of the chairman of Argonne, of all local government chairmen. That was the chairman of chairmen, So, and he was chief of staff to Governor Rotimi Amaehwule, and then later minister, and governor for 8 years. Come on, he has the full grasp of the politics of Rivers State. So it will not be a tea party to want to uproot such a man, It's like you come to Lagos, you also want to talk with Jagaban. It's not going to be easy. I mean, your face will be bloodied. So I believe that because of that experience, his deep-rooted connection with the grassroots and politics of the state, people are careful to take him on. And secondly, you know that...
no, but we're not talking about Rivers State now. We're talking about the PDP,
no, he
the
said,
national
yes,
body of the PDP.
Because Rivers State, if you look at the politics of Nigeria, people will tell you, if you win Kano, if you win Rivers and Lagos, it's an indication that you are going to win the presidency of Nigeria. So, I mean, to talk with a man who controls a state that is regarded as a swing state that can swing the election in your favor, you have to be mindful of the way and manner you do such. And don't also forget that Nigerian politics is highly monetized. And Rivers State is an oil-producing state, one of the richest states in the country. So you will have the resources to tackle you. So if you don't have enough resources, you don't even go into a battle with such a man. So I think over the years, he has also been able to have a lot of allies across board. I mean, there are indications and unconfirmed speculation that he has helped some of his co-governors before to pay salaries of civil servants in their state. And anytime there is a crisis in any state, he does dole out some money to assist them. Like, I mean, shortly before the election, before the fallout between himself and Tambuwa, that grand betrayal, that happened during the PDP convention, he gave 500 million naira to Sokoto State when they had their market bond. Yes. So with such kind of generosity from him, the power of political, what I call it, machinations or manipulations and all that, it's not going to be easy for anybody to take on Wike.
It will not be easy, but doesn't take away the, the signs that the PDP at this point is, seemingly very weak party. If with its failure to caution its supposed members. We probably will go back to the PDP, but I want our viewers to, of course, get a feel of what we see happening today in Rivers State. Now that there's 27 people who have defected to the APC, what happens next? From your calculations in the state, the speaker, of course, the court has said that the speaker is still Ehie, who is a PDP member and, of course, a supporter of Governor Fubara. So where do you see this going?
One can only do some intelligent speculation, based on the history of politics in Nigeria. And that is to say, Rivers State is going to be embroiled in crisis, already in crisis, And then it means that they say when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. The people of the state, their welfare and well-being is going to be put in abeyance. And like I said the last time, Section 14, subsection 2B of the Constitution is very clear that the primary purpose of government is the welfare and security of the people. And now when there's this kind of crisis, there will be tension in the state, and we hope it doesn't resort to killings. There's already arson. The State House of Assembly has been burned down, and we don't know how many billions that's going to be used to refurbish that place. And some people are complaining of threat to life. And now the Rivers State government, the ESCO has said they approve a budget of about 800 billion. You ask yourself, who is going to pass that budget into law? Is it the 27 members on the other side or the 4 members led by Ehie? So I think what we are going to have is going to be a situation where you have a lot of brazen violation of the Constitution and abuse of the democratic process in trying to ensure that the will of governance is still running. We had a similar scenario in Edo State when Governor Baseki was accused of not inaugurating 14 members. Yes. And he was ruling the state with 9 members. And effectively out of that 9 members, only about 5 we are going to the State of Assembly. But the state went on for about 3 years like that, and nothing happened. So we are going to have this kind of brazen disregard for the principle of democracy and the rule of law. And I remember my boss, one of my bosses on the Merciful Whiskey those days under the military, he wrote an article where he described this executive lawlessness as an action of rascals in paradise. So you just have some bunch of politicians who just want to behave like rascals in paradise.
Okay, let's come back to your your interpretation of Section 109 of the Constitution, because we've seen that has been the basis of the argument for both parties, those who have defected and those who think that they shouldn't have defected. So on the one hand, Section 109, subsection 1G, talks about what happens, when a party, a person who has been sponsored by a political party defects before the expiration of his time, that seat will be deemed vacant. But then if you go further down, it talks about, unless...
Under the circumstance, you can do
exactly, perceived,
there's a merger or there's a faction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I want to find out what your take is on this, because the lawmakers in Rivers State who have defected have cited a perceived division in the People's Democratic Party at the national level. They're asking who exactly is the national secretary of the People's Democratic Party, and they've cited this as perceived division. So, first of all, what's your interpretation of this law? And will their excuse or their reason, would it suffice to, to be regarded as perceived division in the PDP?
The truth is that Section 109 is very clear. There's no ambiguity. It is all that we live in a situation where people interpret the law or the Constitution to suit their own desire and set agenda. I mean, you can only defect and retain your seat if there is a factionalization within your party, or if there's a merger and that your party is a component of the new party. With what has happened or what is happening and unfolding in Rivers State, trying to hide under the guise of the national secretary crisis to say where there's a division in the party. Like the electoral law says, that not just compliance, substantial compliance. Will you say because a national secretary who went to contest for an election, coming back to say because he lost the election, he now wants his seat back, and he went to court, and the acting national secretary said no, and the party supporting the acting national secretary, that you have already vacated the office? Does that amount to a division in the party? Have you seen people saying we now belong to the faction led by the SY national secretary, and some say, okay, we belong to the faction of the acting national secretary? There's nothing like that. Even in that Rivers State, you know that there are two factions of APC now. The Emeka Becker said he is the elected chairman of APC in Rivers State. But recently, we had Tony Okocha being appointed as the caretaker chairman of APC. And even Becker is saying that he's not aware, as the authentic, as he described it, the authentic chairman of APC in Rivers State is not aware of the defection of 27 members. But Tony Okocha is celebrating that they are warmly welcome. So are we now going to say that there's also division in APC? So the truth is that in my own interpretation, I think it is the court that will have the final say, but in my own interpretation, what is happening at the national level in PDP cannot substantially comply with the definition of factionalization of PDP.
Okay. So I think what I wanted to ask, sorry, my follow-up would be, is there now a vacancy? Would you say that officially there's a vacancy and that INEC would need to conduct fresh elections?
Well, one thing I'm sure of, and which I know you are also considering that will be the outcome. This is going to be resolved by the court. I mean, both parties are going to head to the court. And then the court will not have to decide, It is not what Osa Director says, But I've given my own interpretation that it does not amount to factionalization of PDP. I mean, the disagreement over who is the national secretary. But at the end of the day, that's what we keep seeing in this country. Politicians are sourcing their responsibility to the judiciary. And at the end, you lay the blame on the judiciary. Yeah. When you are unable to perform your own simple task and responsibility. So it's so unfortunate.
talk a little bit more about Sim Fubara, the governor of the state. Like you said, you didn't expect this to happen now. You thought it would be maybe after 4 years in his attempt for re-election. But this is just a couple of months into him being in office and where it is in chaos. What do you know a lot about him and what this might mean for his political future going forward?
I really don't know anything about Governor Fubara. I mean, if you know the circumstance he came in, almost every non-politician, whether of the APC stock or the PDP stock in Rivers State, objected to his emergence. It was just like the FCT minister said, it was a single act of imposition by the FCT minister that this is the man I want. There was no argument about that. So, and he was a civil servant, yes. So he wasn't really a politician. And, like civil servants, they are to be seen and not to be heard, more or less. So you cannot really give a color to his political views and political pedigree. But the only thing surprising that for Wike to have stuck out his neck like that, it means they had a great understanding. And that's why I said I am shocked that in less than 6 months. So, but like somebody, I spoke to a politician in Rivers State who should be in the know, he belongs to both camp, at some point, and so he said it's possible that some of the conditions that Fubara had to operate were probably too suffocating for him, and that he just felt it's even better to be out of here than to be seen as a governor. But what I want to say is that, or advise both parties, I mean, both the godfather and the godson, is that whatever is the arrangement between them, they should be gentlemen who should honor it as far as it does not impede or inhibit the progress and development of Rivers State and Rivers people.
What would a possible arrangement be between a
I wouldn't know, like
exiting governor?
I would, but
because it's not the first time, right? We've seen this happen in many other states across Nigeria before. So what is a common, type of agreement that
the common type of agreement, from what we have heard from the FCT minister, he said, do not touch the structure, the political structure in the state which brought you in, and that he's not inviting enemies. Those who fought him, those who fought even the FCT minister as part of the government, and that he doesn't want that.
But should he still have that much influence in governance? Doesn't he have the affairs of the FCT to run? Why does he have to have that much of a strong say in determining what an acting sitting governor should do for his state?
Yeah, it's the nature of politics in Nigeria. He has a reason for insisting that Fubara should be the governor of Rivers State. And he's wanting that reason, those factors to play out, and which is not playing out. So he's insisting that, look, young man, this is not the arrangement. You play by the script that we agreed upon. So if you cannot take the heat, don't get into the kitchen.
If you say that the two men, I shouldn't say outgoing president because he's gone, outgoing governor rather, because he's gone, the minister of the FCT and the sitting governor should stick by whatever arrangement, they should have they should be gentlemen and stick by whatever agreement they had before the elections happened and he got into office. Would that not be in some measure encouraging that we continue Godfatherism and that we do not challenge the status quo as is?
Yeah, you are right. I am not, and I will never be a supporter of Godfatherism. Anywhere I see Godfathers, I like to fight them. Because, like I said, that Nigerian politicians are a funny lot. Like the saying goes that it's only a madman who does the same thing over and over and expect different results. Godfatherism has never worked anywhere. I only use that statement that, look, like the FCT minister also said, because you must balance this thing. He said, when I was insisting that you must be the governor, I wasn't a bad man. I wasn't a godfather. Now you become governor. I'm suddenly a bad man and a godfather. So why don't you also look at it that way? They said I'm not saying any of them is a devil, but that is saying that if you want to dine with the devil, dine with a long spoon. But my own philosophy is that don't dine at all because the devil can break the spoon, So, if they had an arrangement which does not or which will not impede or inhibit the progress of the people of Rivers State and Rivers State generally, then they should honor those agreements, the gentleman's agreement. But if it's something that has to do with looting or abbreviating,
diverting state funds
resources,
into
no.
Yes. Yeah.
That shouldn't take place.
But another thing, to point out, is that in 2023, these are still the type of conversations we're having, with regards to politics in Nigeria. It's heartbreaking. And we've seen the president also get involved, or reports of the president trying to get involved with, these situations. In Ondo State, there are, of course, and that with River State also. So what are your thoughts on what President Tinubu may also, be trying to do in a situation like this?
I think you give him that credit for trying to even get involved in the politics of River State, because ordinarily as an APC man, you can say, well, that's the internal politics of the PDP. But like we always say, once you are a president or a governor, you are not the governor of a party or the president of a party. You are that for everybody. So he intervened and tried to. That's why I'm shocked that this is still going on, But like I always say, these politicians must realize that they pose a threat to democracy. You see, there is a book written by two political scientists, two professors of political science from Harvard University, Stephen Levitsky and Daniel Ziblatt. The book is titled How Democracies Die, or Why Democracies Die. They made a lot of interesting conclusions. One of them was that the biggest threat to democracy is not the booming guns. It is those persons who were elected under a democratic circumstance, but when they get to position of authority, they use their position and power to subvert and undermine the principles and values of democracy and the rule of law. Now, those are the biggest threat to democracy because they become tyrants and they emerge as visible threats that are ready to destroy every fabric of democratic principles and values.
Yeah.
And that is what these politicians must realize, that they are constituting presently in the Nigerian polity.
Wouldn't you say that, this is karma that is happening to Nyesom Wike? Because if you go to, not too far back, we saw this play out, where he was in some way he was the godson of the former governor of Rivers State. And all of this happened, he's become a king in his own right in Rivers State. So this might be karma, right? That's one. And on the other hand, I'd like you to talk to us about Nyesom Wike, your thoughts about him and the style of leadership that Nyesom Wike displays. The lawmaker representing the FCT made reference to his styles, saying that he's bold, but that a lot of his policies were not people-centric. So I want you to talk about how his style of leadership plays out, and your thoughts on it, this maybe being karma.
Yeah, I agree with you. First of all, let me take the issue of karma. Like they say, what goes around comes around. It's a revolving chair, a yo-yo game of musical chairs, But being that as it may, and that is why somebody must act decisively to stop that trend, because if you do it to somebody, somebody is going to do it to you. And it's a cycle, But talking about Wike's leadership style, I want to say that you either like, is a man of extreme. You either like Wike passionately or you hate him fiendishly, because of his style. He doesn't believe, he's not a man of the center. He's a man of extremes, And I can tell you that there are times, even as a person, I'm so enthralled by his boldness, by his spokenness. It's because my own philosophy in life is I like people who are naturally and purposefully stubborn and ruthless. And you must tell me, I like people who speak their mind so that I know where you stand and I know how to relate with you. Not all these people who are always sucking, slimy character. So for Wike, I like his boldness. I like his outspokenness. I like the fact that he will know where he stands on issues. You might not like it. He might not even be saying, I mean, he might not even be taking the right decision according to the interpretation of the opposite person, but he has taken a position. Like a leader once said in Nigeria, or one of the former head of state, Isiah Bibi Obari, that history will forgive you for taking a wrong decision, but history will never forgive you for not taking a decision. You cannot fault Wike for not taking a decision. So that I like about him. But the flip side is that as a leader, you must learn to be conciliatory. You must know the fact that you are not God. You don't play God in people's lives. You know, you must admit that you are just a mere mortal. And power is so transient and ephemeral. And you must be a product of history and not a victim of history.
Yeah.
You know, learn from, I mean, we said it now. From 1999, what has been happening in River State. So you should learn from that. So that's the flip side. If you can manage these points I just highlighted, by being conciliatory, by not being a victim, but a learner and a student of history, I think Wike will be a very good leader.
I'm guessing the people of River State, you know, elected him in office, you know.
There's a caveat that I added.
To steer the state in the right direction, not.
And I've been to Rivers several times in terms of infrastructural delivery, and you can't fault him.
Can you fault the House of Assembly Rivers?
Mr. Director, I feel like over time we need to continue to refine our demands of governance.
Yeah,
you know, we need to continue.
I know where you're going.
Yeah. So everybody knows
that. That's why he was elected to do. You know, I don't like saying we praise a man because he did roads and all that. What was he supposed to do? Exactly. I understand, but we are saying because of where we are coming from, at least this one did something. Some don't even want to do anything.
Well, I mean, if you look at where we're coming from, I'm just seeing a picture of you when you were jailed by Abacha in. Was that 1998?
Yeah, 1995.
1995.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. So that is why I'm very angry and passionate, because these people, these characters, who are all ranting and prancing the political space.
So does it?
When we're fighting the military.
Yeah. So does it make you feel? You know, or how does it make you feel that in 1995 you were vocal against the military government? You went to jail. I can see a picture of you with leg cuffs here. Yeah. But in 2023, it seems like, that fight has still not ended, but now you're fighting that fight with people who are doing it, under the cloak of democracy.
Yeah, that is why I said that it's lamentable. Some of us even find it difficult to speak because it's like, I don't want to say you are overwhelmed. If the military cannot overwhelm us as young people, is it these kind of characters who really have no substance and all that you are going to be scared of. Yeah, but the truth is that it's with a sense of disappointment that 24 years after, we are even regressing. Yes. Because Nigeria is an unfortunate state or nation state that where the past is always more glorious than the present.
Well, even though, unfortunately, our national anthem says that the labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain, some would argue that maybe it already is. I wanted to ask you about the House of Assembly speakers and the role they play in all of this, but unfortunately we've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Osa Director. We look forward to having you again.
Thank you very much. It's nice being here.
And this is where we draw the curtain on today's show. Thank you very much for joining us.